Howdy, folks. This is Microwaved 1 of the S.E.E paper. We're going to be doing a interview with Mr. Fake4 today of Floritania. We're going to be talking a lot about North American CCNet politics, a lot about the recent sieges, Nova Prospect, all about the Black Friday War. How's it going, Fake?
It's going well. It has been nice 2 weeks,
Mm-hmm.
occupying Canada. Well, we
Living off
recently,
occupation money.
uh, it has been a lot of occupation money. We managed to buy pretty much all of Empire of Colombia, um, and we still have a lot of money left over,
Mm-hmm.
So it has been it has been really nice occupying Canada once again for the
Mm-hmm.
sixth time. So
Speaking of Colombia, so I did a paper on this. You had a deal with the Colombians to start buying their towns because they went inactive. Currently, what is the situation with all of that? How did that happen? How did that start? How much did these towns cost?
well, um, I simply just got in contact with Roxaloid, I
Hmm.
think. I ended up talking to pretty much every single Colombian from Ledax Berry, Roxaloid. I talked with. I don't think I talked with Nina Vina, but pretty much all the town holders. And so they were moving, and now they moved to Kingful Gliders Nation.
Hmm.
And and so I just offered to buy their towns, you know?
I see.
And yeah, they agreed to sell them. I didn't want anyone else to get the towns, so so I just bought all of them.
Yeah,
It was kind of cheap. Um, I'll say like around. I don't want to wait. I don't want to say like exaggerated prices, but it was like around 200k. Yeah.
intriguing. Were these towns like fully filled up, or did they take everything out of them?
No, they took everything out. They asked me if they could just take everything.
Hmm.
I just said okay.
So
I don't
more or
really care.
less, you were kind of just buying land then, correct?
Yeah, pretty much. I don't care. I didn't care much about the items. They never
Hmm.
had many. So.
And I see. Well, on that, after you kind of bought all these Colombian towns, we've come to this week. Obviously, sieges are up again, and Canada has launched a liberation siege. Now, currently, if you look at the stats, now I'm not very well versed in this, but it is 40,000. It is 40,000 points towards Canada, correct?
Yeah, correct.
What is the Floritanian, and on a bigger scale, what is the coalition plan for this siege? Do you plan on fighting, or are you just going to let Canada
No, we
liberate
haven't
themselves?
really fought yet. We haven't wasted a single pot. We haven't wasted anything, like any item. We didn't even touch the items. Only before the siege even started, while trying to get the banner placement. So what pretty much happened was we were fighting for the banner placement. For those that don't know, because I know a lot of people will be watching this. Uh, since we occupied them, there was a specific time, also like 2 weeks after I placed the first banner that got them occupied. 2 weeks
Hmm.
after, the exact time, if I can only place the banner at like the exact second I placed the banner the last 2 weeks,
Yeah.
and so we were all fighting for that 1 second where I could place the banner, or they could place the banner. And so, unfortunate that it got into their time zone. So, for
Hmm.
example, in the earlier like times of the day, for me at least, of course, time zones fuck everything up, but you get what I mean.
Oh, of course.
Uh, Coalition is like the majority of people online, but
Hmm.
like with well, as the day goes by, the alliance starts getting more active. So alliance is the majority of alliance is like NA players, North Americans.
Yeah. Very much
And
on that
so
East
compared
Coast,
to
West Coast time.
yeah. And so the majority of coalition is European. So it's kind of yeah, it kind of landed on their time zone, which is fair. They got banner placement. It's fair for them. And so I told everyone to not waste pots. I don't need to use more money. We use maybe like few dubs of pods for like trying to get a banner placement. It's not
Hmm.
even that much money. And so I prefer not wasting items and just keeping the items that I got from them these 2 weeks from these 2 weeks of occupation, and just accept that I lost the banner placement and I lost the siege. And there's always another time to siege. There's always more sieges to come. I've occupied them 6 times. I'll do it once again, as many times as I need to get them off my land. So
What do you think Canada's plan is? So I'm assuming you're not going to fight the Liberation Siege. Once
no,
Canada liberates itself, do you think Canada is going to attempt to siege Floritania? What do you think the Canadian plan is?
I mean I don't know. They're kind of unpredictable. I would say their plans are really questionable.
Hmm.
Um, well, I don't know. They can siege Brigantia. Maybe I don't know. If they want, they can siege Brigantia.
Do you
I don't
think
really care.
do you think that Canada would theoretically, do you think that Alliance would win a siege against Brigantia?
Never did, never will.
I see. Do you think that that kind of opinion is shared amongst coalition that,
Oh
yeah,
yeah,
sure, Canada may liberate themselves, but they're never going to be able to hurt us?
yeah, pretty
Do you have
much.
any?
Cause
No,
sorry.
please continue.
Because like when it's like a Brigantia siege, I actually like them because people started getting active again. Morera after Brigantia siege, he got really hyped. He even made a video on Floritania, and he came
Hmm.
back and he's now building it Ativa again, farming for us. And so each Brigantia siege, more and more people just come back, and I really like that. So yeah, they. I don't think they would be able to win the Brigantia siege
Hmm.
just because just can't. Especially now, like during the Brigante siege, I had a lot of like IRL school work, and
Yeah,
and we won. Now would be able because like I don't have any tests
I see.
anymore. So
Do you think
yeah.
that do you think that because Canada is going to liberate itself, and theoretically, let's say the Canadians never plan on sieging Brigantia, do you think that you could work towards a peace with Canada again?
Well, from what I've been talking to Canadian members, they wanted to make a new nation.
Really?
I'm not going to go really in that. Um, I don't know if it's true. I don't know if it's not. I don't care if it's true. I don't care if it's not. If it's true, I'll be chill with the new nation. If it's not, okay, life goes on.
Hmm.
But
It's a very
uh,
intriguing prospect.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what would happen. That could go really into what they would want to do.
Hmm.
Um, yeah,
Do you,
I don't really know. Mm.
I see. Currently, when it comes to Canada, what do you think the Canadians are like? Like, I know I asked you what they're planning on doing, but how have the Canadians received the Liberation Siege? So obviously they probably know that you guys are not gonna fight back on it. Do you think that they're in good spirits? Do you think that they believe that they're gonna win?
I mean, of course. I just feel like sometimes people get way too happy over a single siege that no one fought,
Hmm.
and those like moments are the ones that boost the ideas of like sieging Brigantia, and that led to Canada being occupied once again. So I feel like it's going to keep going on the cycle. They try to siege Brigantia, they got occupied. They get unoccupied. They try to do some shit. They got occupied again. And it's
Hmm.
just a continuous cycle. I don't really know. We were in peace. I was trying to do peace, but then they just started acting like they just started preparing Brigantia siege base, and I was like, I'm not doing this shit. So yeah, I just started preparing my own siege base, and then they started peeking out
I see.
and siege Brigantia, and yeah, that's how it ended.
Hmm. Moving away from the Black Friday War and kind of the conflict in Canada, recently, I know the papers kind of covered this a lot, but we had the sort of pseudo collapse of the WCR. Obviously, I know that a lot of North American nations played a role or overlooked kind of the loss of their Californian territory. What do you just give me your general opinion on what happens there?
So, it's not really an opinion. I know what happened there. I've talked to both sides. Um, I have people inside both nations that told me what happened, and
Hmm.
so it was kind of a rug pull from CE towards WCR, and so they got the fort holders to just completely leave the nation, and
Hmm.
since pretty much all the fort holders left and joined cultists, the nation in the southern part, not the Alaska one, but the southern part. Yeah, the nation, the towns all just disbanded. Not disbanded. The towns just left,
Yeah.
and so some fell because they could not pay upkeep. Some like XMO's town are still nationless, and some joined cultist.
Hmm.
They weren't really happy with that. The WCR guys. I mean, bit obvious why, but you know,
Yeah.
you shouldn't have given the Ford mayors the Ford uh, mayor to a random. I don't know if they're random such as like people that would be
Untrustworthy.
tempted to. Yeah, untrustworthy. Yeah.
Now, uh, when I was interviewing Katz over the same issue, I mean, obviously he's one of the leaders of WCR. He had a lot of opinions regarding it. But overall, I always got the feeling that CE kind of planned to take the West Coast because they were fearful of coalition sieging WCR. They were fearful of it being an easy target to pick off. Do you reciprocate these feelings? Do you think that was ever going to happen?
I feel like what Supercell tried doing there is like giving a reason to do that, but he already wanted to do that. He just wanted the coastline.
Hmm.
I feel like that would be the main reason.
Do you think that?
He always wanted that coastline, and now he got it. He
Mhm.
has it, so I feel like that would be what happened, but
Do you think that
I
do
cannot.
you ever did you ever plan to siege WCR, or is that just kind of a myth?
I mean, cannot disclose that.
It's just top secret.
Everything is.
Well, regarding those similar things, obviously, like there's a lot of contention in CE. I don't know if you know, but Deathmaker, one of the former leaders of CE, has returned. There's a lot of talk about coalition sieging CE and going southbound. Do you think, no, obviously, this is probably behind a lot of closed doors, but do you think that these kind of things are dangerous? Do you think that it's scary that CE's kind of afraid of you guys?
I mean, I see no reason to be afraid of me. Uh, I'm a chill guy. Um, like I don't know what to say. Like I told Supercell to just not appear at Briganti Siege, and he appeared either ways. I don't
Hmm.
know what's up with him. I tried settling this down with him, but he said he would maybe like just abandon Canada.
I see. Do you think that
If
because, now I think this has kind of been a little bit of a story, but obviously Canada did not do a great job at the last Nova Prospect siege. It's kind of a big throw. Do you think that because they threw that siege and a lot of it was their fault, do you think that that kind of split them off from some of the other alliance nations?
oh, definitely. I've seen Canadians make towns in other nations already. Um, some like I said before, the nation that they are making, the
Hmm.
I think it's like Kingdom of Nordland or something like that. Sorry if I'm wrong. To I'm no Malone, but I don't know who's going in there. I don't know what's to happen in there. He told me it's a new nation. I don't know if it's a new nation or a new Ford of Canada. We'll have to see.
Do you think that that group is more alliance aligned, or do you think they're more pegged for coalition?
Well, what he told me was he was going to be neutral. Okay, But
Mhm.
I don't know, like they have strong alliance ties, so
And
I wouldn't.
obviously, neutral doesn't always mean what you think it means.
Of course, the LCR was also neutral, and they appeared at Brigantia stage. So.
Yeah. Speaking of kind of these neutral nations, obviously we've had the rise of, I will never be able to pronounce it correctly, Quintessent Syndicate. Um,
You pronounced it right.
Now a lot of alliance people, especially on CE, are kind of accusing the Syndicate of being just another coalition ally. Do you think that's true?
Not really.
Do they have
They are
close
not.
ties with like coalition?
They have close ties with Floritania and Russia. That's it.
I see. Now, obviously, Floritania and Thracia are both two of the biggest coalition nations. Do you not think that there's like at least a little bit of a future join possibility?
Not really.
Can I ask
I
why?
wouldn't say that. I mean, OG Torta, like the nation itself, they are all really, really, really good players. Like OG Torta, Bunlik, Hercel, Pokemon Gamer recently joined. I don't know if God joined them. I think they still in Thracia. Not sure again. Zixia, Zimotheus. You know,
Hmm.
all the combination. Such great players. I really like that nation. Um, and so I don't think they would need coalition. You know, I feel like
See.
no one would ever like siege their fort. Why would you? Again, like there are much easier targets like
Hmm.
than
And they're much
their
in
nation.
their because of their massive player base and their good player base, it would be far more expensive to siege them than any other nation.
Of course, and, like there are so many things that you could do besides sieging them. You know,
Hmm.
and I feel like especially their fort will be like one of the most prepared ones with like farmers of that kind. I feel like it would be really hard to siege, especially considering that the fort is really good. I really like that fort. It's really beautiful. The
So I'm
dragon on
assuming that
top.
you've seen their
Stunning.
fort design.
Of course, I've seen it before it was printed.
Hmm. Can you disclose any information about the fort?
What do I need to disclose? Fort is printed in game. You can go check it out.
Well, yeah, I mean, but like, what kind of designs is it similar to? I mean, a lot of people kind of on the other side of the aisle are kind of scared of going over to Compressants because they may be shot down or whatever such. Just what kind of general style of fort are they going for?
I mean, I don't know if I know that not everyone has seen, but Sabako no Hoshi, the Japanese fort.
Ah, I see.
It's really similar to that, but way better at the same time. All the
Hmm.
flaws were uh,
Removed.
removed, yeah, and uh, like the fort uses a lot of turrets, but also a lot of cannons. It's a really good fort. It's a massive one, and the Moofrock bases are fully stocked. It's beautiful,
See. Do you think?
and yeah,
No,
sorry.
continue.
Like if no, I'm pretty sure no one is afraid from to go there. With a sword and a compass, you can go there and no one will kill you.
That's fair enough. Do you think,
You can just look at the map.
kind of
Yeah, sorry.
surrounding Quintessence again? Do you think that they'll ever try and make a play for the naval zones? I know that we don't really talk about sort of naval combat on the show a lot, but do you think that they're ever going to try and threaten the Alliance naval dominance in North and South Atlantic?
I mean, of course they would, and yeah, they would. I know, like with those farmers, like losing ships is not a problem for them.
Hmm.
Well, nowadays it's really easy to make ships either ways, but I feel like they have a lot of also really good move crafters,
Oh
and
yeah,
so uh, they have multi. How do I say it? Their players know a bit of everything. That's how I would say it.
I see. They're just
Yeah,
I think a lot of people have observed they're just very what's the experienced.
yeah. They may not like pull as many numbers as like Thresher, but I feel like their numbers are like quality, not quantity. You know. And
Hmm.
even there, they also have a quantity. So
No, they do have a vast majority of players.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, kind of moving back again, we're entering into the kind of later phase of the interview, minute 20. I'd like to plug in my shameless plugin of the day. I always add in one to every interview. My shameless plugin, similar to the former shameless plugin, S.E.E. Christmas. You gotta come. It's on the 20th. It's in Saint Denis. We have it's a beautiful casino. It's gonna be filled with working casino machines. I don't know how they work. Revolt told me how they work, and I still don't understand how they work. But it is gonna be absolutely amazing. It's gonna be after the Tertian Olympics, which is going to be a great game, sponsored by S.E.E. It's going to be absolutely amazing. When you guys go in, watch the Olympics, come down, have a few drinks in Saint Denis. It's going to be an absolute bash. Anyway, moving back. Obviously, we've had a few people pop in the audience. I'd always like to open it up to subscriber questions. Granted, I don't think we're gonna get a lot. You've been pretty straightforward. So I think with that, do you have any questions for me, Fake?
I mean, hmm, it's really funny asking questions to the interviewer.
I always ask that to all of my interviewees because sometimes you got people who actually ask really interesting questions. So you know.
I mean, I have a question. I mean, do you think Secret Evil Empire, in case paper, um, like has a tendency to post some news that are more alliance uh
All
sided?
right. Okay. Well, we'll bring this back. Um, I wouldn't say more alliance based. I think that over the last month, there have definitely been a lot of alliance victories, although I always try and highlight on kind of the extreme coalition victories. I mean, obviously we have the Nova Prospect siege 2 weeks ago now, which at like Alliance was just absolutely shattered and dominated. I always try and emphasize when that happens. Although I always like to I know a lot of my subscriber base are Alliance members, so I never want to I always want to cater to both sides when I try and do it. Although me personally, I think that I'm at least a little bit biased. I wouldn't call myself too heavily biased though. Although I always try and make the papers try and not lean to either side. Now, of course, some issues will lean, but I think I always try and balance it out with the next one.
I mean, that's fair. That's fair. I know before you used to post a lot of papers
Oh yes, it was
about
great.
Floritania. So that's the only reason I asked this question.
Hmm.
Also, you should make a paper on the new nation that is popping up soon.
The thing is, I've looked at whatever it is, like Trinity or whatever it's going to be called. That
Yep.
it confuses me because I don't know the player base. They have these really weird snake claims around it too.
I
I'm
feel like
looking at it.
that's just the towns that cannot claim more. I feel like
Probably they
uh,
probably don't have enough population base.
no, when you create a nation, you get the nation bonus. That's
Oh
why.
well, I don't know.
Like
Yeah,
I would keep an eye on that. I would make a paper on that because that nation is going somewhere. I'm
yeah.
telling you.
I'll make a paper on it when they actually form the nation. Because the thing is, they're just kind of rogue towns right now.
I can ensure you those rogue towns will grow bigger soon. But while that, have a great time. Thanks for
Hmm.
interviewing me. And
I do have one final
that's
question
nice.
for you.
Ooh, one final question.
Obviously, we've talked about this a lot on the paper. It's been an issue of hot contention. Many North American leaders have commented on it. There is the issue of Staff Nation, which is quite possibly one of the most aggressive countries in the entirety of the planet. They have
Oh yeah.
expanded to occupying the poor town of Hotvik and the second poor town of, I'm trying to find one, of uh Steelwind City. It's very sad.
Oh
It's a
yeah.
very horrible situation. What are your comments on Staff Nation? And when do you
Well,
plan to siege them?
okay. So in Floritania, we discuss that almost every day. Actually,
Hmm.
every single day we're here like concerned about the problem of Staff Nation.
As you should.
When you, yeah, as we should, as every single nation leader in this continent should be doing. Because it's actually concerning. The main problem is that sometimes I tend to focus too much on the random nations that I have to siege.
Hmm.
But sometimes you need to focus on the bigger problem, and that bigger problem is obviously Staff Nation. Um,
Hmm.
them occupying these such defenseless towns for no reason. Such It's like a war crime. To me, in my opinion, I feel like every single nation in North America should unite to siege Staff Nation. Them abusing their military technology that is above everyone else should be stopped
It's
and
true.
should not happen. It should not happen. It's a global concern, actually. It shouldn't only be the North American leaders, it should be a global concern.
I
That's
mean,
that's
who
my take
knows if
on it.
they're going to expand cross-continentally?
Oh, yeah. Oh yeah, with Staff Nation technology, they might even expand into outside of CCNet. Like that's how powerful they
They'll
are.
go they'll go cross-server. I mean, they're one of the most powerful nations that we've ever seen on CCNet.
Of course, like nothing has ever been seen like
Hmm.
at that level. I feel like it should be a global concern in CCNet, and I think like we should all unite coalition alliance or in all
True.
the neutral ones to just attack Staff Nation because that nation should be stopped
Hmm.
like right now
The
before
moment
it's too
that
late.
infinite timer ticks down, we're gonna conquer
Yeah,
Staff
exactly.
Nation.
Exactly. I feel
Well,
like Shinshan should use its nuclear bombs. I don't know if you know
oh,
that, but
true.
Shinshan has the nuclear bombs, and I think they should use it on the Staff Nation.
They
But
should.
that's
They should.
just me. That's just me.
Even then, Staff Nation, horrible place.
No, of course.
Population are horribly mistreated as well.
I've heard that. I've heard that.
Hmm. Well, on that somber note about the terror of Staff Nation, I'd like to formally end the interview here. I mean, I think we've covered a lot of the topics about North America, especially the future and the sieges in Canada. So it's been wonderful having you on the show, Faith. I know this is
No,
probably
thanks.
either a fourth or third interview with you, but it's been amazing the whole way.
Uh, I feel like it's a second in like videos, but you already made a lot of them in papers. You asked
Oh yeah.
me for especially during the Colombia times.
Hmm.
I remember those.
Well, I mean, whenever you're covering an international superpower, you're gonna have a lot of medium regarding them.
Usually it's that, yeah.
All right. Well, see you later, Fake. It's been great having you on the show. This has
I
been Microwaved One of the S.E.E. paper. I am your moderator, your interviewer, and your CEO president. Thank you, folks.